I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country. Maybe there will be.
People need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator.
You know, there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Enemies of the state.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Do something about your dad's immigration practices, you feckless.
When they go low, we kick them.
How do you resist the temptation to run up and wring her neck?
The biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized to the right.
I thought he should have punched him in the face. I said, even if you lost, he insulted your wife.
Yes.
He came down the escalator and called Mexicans rapists and murderers. He said, well, what do you think I should have done? I said, I think you should have punched him in the face and then gotten out of the race. You would have been a hero.
I'd like to punch him in the face. I said if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
Punch some people in the face!
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump, and that's a fact.
Look as his character is stabbed to death.
Where is John Wilkes Booth when you need him?
I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
A Missouri state senator is under investigation by the Secret Service after saying she hopes President Trump is assassinated.
I will go and take Trump out tonight.
And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
And sadly, the domestic enemies to our voting system and our honoring our Constitution are right at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
They're not going to stop before Election Day in November, and they're not going to stop after Election Day. And that should be, everyone should take note of that on both levels, that this isn't, they're not going to let up, and they should not.
If you think we're rallying now, you ain't seen nothing yet.
I got to go. You guys go. Move it. I'll tell you when you bring it in. Yep.
He just had surgery. There's nobody in our house.
Where is your surgery?
He got surgery on his left wrist.
Left wrist. Okay. It's okay, buddy.
He had surgery because he had a cyst. He just went to the VA on Friday.
Okay.
He had surgery.
Okay.
You guys have to be really careful. He's not.
Definitely, as someone said in chat. Who said it? Can you say hypocrites? Yeah. I mean,
in kind.
You can argue whether people that were involved in the event of the January event, whether they should be arrested or whether they should be in trouble, but you can't. When it comes down to it, they did vandalism. They didn't burn stuff and go crazy like a lot of other riots. You could say that they trespassed. You could say that they vandalized. But in no way did it elicit a response of a SWAT team, like going in. It's a ticketable thing.
We have friends that attended and were visited.
Yeah,
and
but
put on notice.
This guy, they swatted him and they killed his kid. He his wife miscarried.
That's heartbreaking.
It's very much so. That's just terrible. But this is what I was talking about on your channel, by the way. Welcome to Truth Tuesday, the second half. First half we were talking about on Lisa's channel, and I was talking about how like the billionaires, you call them the elites, call them the puppet masters, but they're just the rich, because it's not. I think it's not even like a lot of the nefarious puppeteers that are pissed now about the ruling in New York. the just rich people, because they're like, hey, this means you can mess with us when it comes to just whatever our political views are, whatever we think, that no matter what, you can come after us and take our money. Because everyone's making the point, there's no one that was hurt financially in that case. Like the banks were the ones that, like, the government goes after them because supposedly you defrauded the bank, and the banks were like, oh no, we made a buttload of money. We actually would like to work with him again.
Right.
That's not, and still they're trying to take hundreds of millions of dollars.
So where's the injured party? Is what you're
There is
saying?
no injured party. So that's where the rich people are like, hey man, we can pay lawyers to get us out of shit that we actually do. Here, nothing was even done. There is no victim. And you can take hundreds of millions of dollars from someone that could be me. No, I'm not going to set foot in your state. I'm not going to. And that's New York, man. I mean, no offense to other states, but, you're not on the world stage. You're not
right. No.
as iconic. If investment money pulls out of your state, it sucks. But dude, if you kill New York, I mean, that's the Statue of Liberty. That is America. I don't know.
A lot of the world. Yeah.
I don't know how people can't see it in our own country those people are like the enemies of our. But then again, I think we're taught now that you're a better person if you're an enemy of the country. If you focus on the negative stuff that that your country has done, everyone's literally taught to hate the country. If there's any way you can separate yourself, whether you're black or Latino or whatever, to where like, not really my country. I was brought here, it's messed up, and it's getting to the point where it's odd to like look on TV and someone's like, "Hey, I'm from Finland. I'm proud to be Finnish. I'm this country that's the size of one city in the United States, population of just a city, and these people are like super proud of their heritage. They're proud of they have a national identity. See, saying the word national identity, there's a little tinge of racism or something there. It's affecting everybody. And it really does have to stop. People don't have enough things to be proud of. I think that's why people are so depressed and sad. They don't have any other positive influence. I mean, what are you super proud of? What your score is in Fortnite, or it's getting to the point where there's not a lot of accomplishments that you can take credit for, without being, like having pride and being a dick. But working out is bad. It's toxic. It just the world is clown world.
Everything good for you is supposedly is either bad for someone else. So Keenan and I did I saw a science experiment. I think I saw it on Twitter even, maybe, or YouTube. I'm not sure, but it was like from the 70s or 60s or something. And it was this guy, and he was teaching these kids on like a TV sound station or whatever studio. And he was like, what do you think will happen? Pack this cup full of ice, all the ice you can, where it's sticking out of the top. So Keenan and I did the same thing. Took a glass, shoved ice, all the ice we could, so it's sticking out of the top. Now fill it with water up to the edge, so where it's almost spilling over. Then we clean the glass off, make sure it's really dry, put it on the counter where it's dry, and now we wait for the ice to melt. And what do you think is going to happen? Will the ice spill over? Will it not? What will happen? And so we were talking, because we're studying mass this week. And talking about how, when water has different mass, it changes form. Well, it has different mass when it changes form. So when it's steam, the mass is larger because it spreads out because the molecules are moving faster. When it's liquid, it's, water, whatever. But then when it's ice, it expands. And so it was interesting because we were watching it. And so Ken's like, it's going to spill over. It's going to spill over because he's thinking that ice sticking out. And I said, well, remember what we're talking about, with mass, and that when water turns into ice, it expands. So when it goes back to water, will it spill over or will it just be small enough to go? And so it melted and it didn't spill over. And he's like, it actually went down. The water went down because all the ice in the glass became smaller together. And so he thought that was pretty amazing. And I was like, yeah, that's why Antarctica or wherever the polar ice melt or whatever is never going to flood the earth. Because as it melts, if it melts, that water becomes less than. It's not more. So anyway,
that's ridiculous.
It was pretty. I know, it's crazy.
No, you're ridiculous. That makes no sense whatsoever. That's like if I shoot you with a smaller bullet. I can't even tell you how ridiculous that is, Lisa. If the polar ice caps melt, we're all dead. It would be enough ice to it's already happened. It was like the last extinction event. There's been 6 or 7 extinction events in the course of the Earth. The last one, when the flood happened, it wasn't all the polar ice caps, but like 15% of them melted. Or no, there was a shift, an Arctic shift, which I have been studying this week. So there's 2 theories. One, that there was a impact that hit Antarctica and caused a shift to where Antarctica used to be like a very temperate zone, and it shifted because of the impact and made everything freeze over. Which then there's all the civilizations and stuff that's hiding on the pole. But anyway, but I think it was like 15% or 20% of the ice melted, which caused a huge flood, which killed a lot of different species and it messed the whole face of the earth up. And then it recedes and freezes again. But there's enough ice to where it can melt, and it has a huge effect on the planet. It will flood and kill a lot of stuff and people. I mean, if the whole thing melts, it's like it's super game over. But just even if a portion of it melts, it's enough to flood a lot of stuff. But there's a lot of ice. There's a lot of ice. But yeah, you're right about the melting thing. It does shrink, but it's still, you can drown in 3 feet of water.
It does have mass. You can drown.
Or less.
I thought it was 3 inches. Yeah.
It is. I was thinking about sharks. It's 3 feet of water. You got to worry about sharks.
Okay.
Growing up,
sharks can drown, and
we had to worry about that. Once you hit like a certain level of water, you had to worry about sharks. I hate sharks a lot. I don't like sharks.
Oh, you're so funny.
Well, they tried to eat me twice, so
I'm sure you're delicious.
I don't care or know. 2 times was enough. The hammerhead was scary. I was alone fishing when I was with the hammerhead. It was trying to beach itself to get to me. That was like a horror movie, and I got beat for that because I was under a bridge in the mud, and this shark was swimming under the bridge. I was like, "Oh my god, it's a really big hammerhead shark!" And it turned and came at me, and came up where I was fishing. And I tried to run, and you can't do that. You got to walk very carefully when you're in the bay. And I stepped, and my foot went like a foot into the mud, and I just pulled it out, and it sucked my shoe.
Yeah.
Kept my shoe, so I went home.
And then you got punished for your shoe.
Yeah, my mom she got the wooden spoon. She's like, "Where's your shoe?" It's like, shark was chasing me. It was trying to come out of the water, and I was running. The mud ate my shoe. And she was like,
"He's like 2 swats, one for lying and one for losing your shoe."
Like, no, the ground ate my shoe when the shark was chasing me on land.
Yeah. 2 swats for you.
That and just one just was in the water in our local beach and hit me, cut my leg. But I punched it in the eye.
You might want to block that person saying racist things, trying to get your channel blocked in the chat.
The Patriot Candle Company.
I really doubt that that's what.
I want to look that up now and see if it's a real company. Bob Iger, what? Yeah, talking about Disney here. There we go.
There you go.
So I got rid of the N and then it was Iger. All right.
Yeah, so
that's funny.
There's a.
I grew up by the ocean, so when Jaws came out, that was like really scary. Also, Amityville, that was like not far from where we live too. So it was a scary childhood. The cinema frightened me quite a lot.
Oh, I am joined. I asked him about. I sent him a message, and we were talking about meritocracy, and he posted an amazing, big long thing that I have not had a chance to like really digest totally. I read through it once, but I want to have him on and talk about some of his ideas, meritocracy. And I am, if you haven't watched it already, on the first half, Buckingham Palace, instead of doing the changing of the guards, they did a changing of the colors, and they have like a umbrella, a waterproof plastic black thing over the flag, and then they're hanging the Union flag, which I'm not sure what that means, but supposedly somebody died. I did hear there's the Rothschilds, the next heir in line is supposed to be receiving all the Rothschild whatever property within the next month. And I wonder if that has something to do with this changing of the guard or the color, or if that was that they kicked Prince Charles, if he had his time up on the stand.
I thought the Rothschilds thing was neat that you posted about how they lied about Napoleon winning so that they could really control the markets. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you've got another one. Now he's Louis Dunn. They're really like trolling you bad.
Okay. But if you look at their MO, it really hasn't changed from them, Rothschilds, all that, hundreds of years ago to Soros. It's basically controlling information to profit from it.
Put fear in the market, and then they profit off the blood in the streets. Yeah, absolutely. Literally. Yeah. Well, and somebody was saying something about Nikki Hilton is married to a Rothschild, and I guess the Hilton hotels are getting in trouble for facilitating or allegedly having some part in some trafficking.
And that's it's a little weird because when you really look at stuff, and it's like, oh my God, the Clinton's daughter is married to this person who's what? Their cousin is who? Angelina Jolie's John Voight's daughter. I mean, there's so many. But then you think those people only like go in those circles. So maybe that makes sense. Billionaires are sticking with billionaires. And
most of the Rothschilds are they like marry. They're inbred. They marry each other.
Yeah, but just the whole elites really just frequent with other elites. So it does make sense that there's that, interaction. But then a lot of it still is just weird. Did you know Jack Black's mom like worked for NASA and invented like crazy shit?
Really?
Yeah, I thought that was weird.
Well, that's scary.
There's just a lot of just, I don't know, weird stuff. Like Nicolas Cage is related to the De Laurentises. The computer behind me.
The boys. I was going to say, is the boys playing a game?
Actually, I think it's Supernatural. I don't think it's Supernatural that's happening. They're watching Supernatural.
They're watching Supernatural
over there.
Good. That's awesome.
I think it was paused. And now it's started playing.
I love that they're watching that.
I have never seen it. Oh, and I've seen a couple episodes, but Ted loves that show. So the series went on sale, so I bought it for him the other day. You know, it's the longest running season on television.
What
long-running series, Supernatural.
I don't even know that it. I thought you were talking about that book that we read.
No, that's becoming Supernatural. The show Supernatural is like Buffy and Angel and Charles. That it's these brothers that go and fight demons and kill them and stuff. But it's like I think it's 15 or 17 seasons or something. It's an old show, and they drive like a really cool muscle car, like an Impala or something. But yeah,
interesting.
Nicholas is a white hat.
Nicholas who?
Cage, probably.
Cage?
Well, they did, the establishment did really go after him and kind of screw him over and his mom or his family.
When you think about those videos or those movies where they talk about like how they used people like Elvis and whatever to like, hey, we need you to get into this place that nobody can get into and deliver a message or spy or whatever. Maybe he was used for something like that. I don't know.
A lot of the movies he just did because he had to get money. That's why he was in like a buttload of movies recently, a buttload of crap movies, is because he paid the IRS off, but they went after him. But then they went after his like mom and his family and started like messing with them and taking stuff from him. So he has them all paid off, and now he's literally like in interviews are like, screw you, IRS, you suck.
Wow, that's terrible.
Yep, did a lot of B movies for money. Just like Bruce Willis, he did. He literally put out a trilogy in 18 months. I saw it on Vudu. There was like just 3 movies, and they were all put out like within 8 months of each other. It's a trilogy. Like he did so many bad movies because he knew.
Was it?
His time was ending.
Was it Bruce Willis? It was John Travolta and maybe Bruce Willis. Paradise City. Haven't I shown you this? How bad? So I think they knocked them off. I think they were bad guys, probably did bad things to children or something. And then I think with that, with Trump's executive order that if you're caught doing that kind of stuff, then all your property gets given to the Treasury, whatever. I think that includes your IP or your intellectual property and could be your identity, or what do they call it? Your image, likeness, whatever. And then they made a bunch of movies with these people with their image, likeness, whatever, using AI, using Sora and whatever to get us through this last part of the movie. The big movie that we're all in. That's what I think. But I know you want to lock me up, so you probably don't.
I don't want to lock you up. I just said
you might lock me up.
I said no. I said if Southern people did the stuff that they do here is like normal. Up north, they would want to lock you up for it.
Oh, that's okay.
Just go into a store and start talking to people. Oh my God, it would run. They did. I remember like just going to the dollar store to get something, and my ex is like, "Hi, how y'all doing?"
I love it.
I used to say the your face thing to everybody. Everybody. Like your face is whatever.
But your face. I don't
Face off was good. Face off was good. It's like when you say you want to lock me up in an asylum. I want to say your face is an asylum.
That's not nice.
You say your face is everything all the time. Just whatever you said, like your face is whatever.
That doesn't seem very nice.
It's my thing, man. It's my thing. It's pretty funny.
Not nice.
People dig it. They dug it. It was dug.
Hmm.
Right. What else would we talk about? The whole Fannie Willis thing, all that stuff's falling apart.
So they kind of got back. That backfired. The judge ended up. They wanted, like, although it didn't like go perfectly for Trump, whatever, but the judge refused to. He's going to allow some disclosure in the Trump case. And I guess the DOJ is freaking out about it. And Jack Smith's freaking out about it because it's going to. Oh, and Cannon was showing me on Fortnite that the latest like movie thing or whatever preview of the next series shows this big lava hand come out and it's covered in chains. And then it drops Pandora's box. And in the video, the kid says, we all have to band together as a community and break the chains. And then the Pandora's box comes out and they better be careful because it's a fire tornado. Like, it just couldn't get more comms in all of the whole thing. I was going to show that today and I forgot I had Ken send it to me and everything.
I thought the whole Google thing was funny. I thought it was interesting that Google came out and apologized. But Woke has posted this. If you just type in stock photo of, he even put non-white shoplifter, it's just white people shoplifting, right?
Oh, how funny.
So I tried it. I put in stock photo shoplifter and I got all the same results, right? So
if you don't, but you're using the word white, right? Even if you say non-white, you're using white.
But so I didn't use that. I didn't use non-white. I just put stock photo shoplifter. I got the same result exactly.
You got only white.
Then I put in a black person stock photo shoplifting, with a black person. Still got the same pictures, but there was like 3 pictures different. One, these people were sitting at a barbecue, and this guy was taking like some food out of one guy's plate, and it was like, they'll take money or take your food, but it wasn't shoplifting. And then there was like 2 straight up muggings where somebody who has like had a gun, they were like mugging someone on the street. But still no shoplifting pictures at all. It was this, and then the pictures of Vikings, and
I saw all that. Yeah, a lot of people.
Yeah, it's just so ridiculous. And then Google they came out and they said that they automatically put in the word diversity into the search. They just don't tell you.
Oh my gosh.
But I think it really shows how I think that a lot of the talk about AI being in control is really an excuse.
Right.
Because it's just another puppet show. Because people are just using AI to push an agenda and then saying, oh, it's the AI, it's the computer. You know what I mean?
It's the way it's programmed.
But yeah, it's still the way it's programmed.
And they're coming around.
And I was on like, I've seen lots of articles that are talking about like a wormholes created and all these other things with quantum computers. And I'm always like, there is no quantum computers yet. We have stuff that's close or really cool, but there's no actual quantum computers yet. So, and then also these are like, computer models. They didn't actually create wormholes or anything like that. But that's a whole different thing. But they're putting it out there, and then regular people now believe that there are quantum computers. What is the biggest?
Because they've heard the name so much.
Yeah,
I don't know.
People think there's quantum computers because they're told, it's that that Mandela effect. Not quite the Mandela effect, but it's a lie that is told. But what the biggest worry about crypto is quantum computing, and it's always
we get hacked.
We did that a long time ago. And it's always quantum computer is so far off that you don't have to worry about it. The only way that they could actually do it is in space anyway, because you have to have literally reach absolute zero to be able to have the heat that's produced from a quantum computer should be like, this is all super nerd talk, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the point is there's no quantum computers. And they're really pushing that. And I mean, I saw probably 8 or 9 articles that are talking about this is done by quantum computer. Quantum computer did this, and they're not real.
And you're like, that's not possible.
Yeah, it's not possible. And you're trying to like look at the right hand, and it's that the left hand is the biggest lie. It's that that's not a real thing, you know.
Very interesting.
That would be interesting. All right. Anything else? What do you want to show? What you were talking about?
Oh, that I was going to show that Fortnite promo video just because it had so many comments. But I'll do it, or I'll just post it in Telegram so people can watch it there because it's kind of long. But if you fast forward to like 4 minutes, it starts talking about all the constellations and the slavery hand and the Pandora's box. And I related it to the Trump case where the DOJ is pissed off about, they've just released Pandora's box basically by that the judge has said, all this is going to be open for disclosure because they had all of that hidden from all of us. And now it's going to be released to the public. So I think that's maybe releasing Pandora's box as well.
So the judge in the Fanny case,
Mm-hmm.
The Fanny case, like it came out that he donated to her campaign. So I think that's why
he knew her dad too prior.
What do we allow as Americans?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you should be able to have the freedom to give money to who you want to, or but then if you're in a certain position, like what's the line? It is difficult. The whole time I was wondering, why is this judge allowing this woman to act this way? This is like unbelievably terrible behavior for a courtroom. This woman, like, she owns the joint. The way she was talking to everybody, the way she was talking down to people, her attitude, any judge would be like, dude, what's your problem? Stop being
just
that way.
Being exposed for who she is.
So, but you wouldn't be able to get away with it. You wouldn't be able to get away with it. I wouldn't be able to get away with that.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, she was like, that's the dumbest question I've ever heard, you stupid bitch. But I guess I'll answer it. Try and keep up. It just she was awful. She's an awful person. And the judge never said shit. And it was so odd to me the whole time it was going on. I'm like, why is he allowing this? So it did beg to be looked at. But it's that thing where you've got to, take a step over to the other side and be like, how can I look at this from a different point of view to make sure that I'm not being a dick and just wanting, to look at things through my own lens. So I think it was right for him to step down. I think it was obvious that there was something up. But then, I mean, if I donated money to someone and they were, if like my friend was, arrested for rape and I was the judge, I know that I would still be impartial. I mean, and I can say that, but honestly, in the back of your head, you're like, hey, man, I know this guy. I don't think he would.
You have to recuse yourself. Yeah.
But at the same time, I think I would be like, you don't know anyone 100%. He could have kept something from you.
Like the fact that he can rape people.
Yeah, you have to look at it, be objective and be open-minded, and maybe he did do it. Mm-hmm. Just look at the facts. But then that's personal. So I don't know, man. I don't know. It's
But that just goes to the point of why she should have recused herself, right?
Well, he should have recused himself. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
I think he should have. Or he should have. Perfect example. Okay, I got in trouble, got a ticket for something. I forget what it was, and when I was younger, if you got a ticket and you're under 18, you could go to teen court, which if people from the high school and your government class, every week on, I think it was Wednesday, they would go and be the jury in teen court. So you go to teen court, you're like, hey, here's my ticket, here's my circumstances, blah, 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 blah. And then the jury would, your ticket got dismissed after you did it. And then, but they would give the punishment, right? And it was like, you had to write a poem, you had to, do community service, you had to do something stupid, write a song, come sing it in court, whatever. They could do whatever. And then the judge would make it legal. So I was like, oh man, I'm going to get out of this so easy. I found out who the jury was. I had like friends on it, and then before it all starts, because you're learning the process, the judge is like, do you know this person? And they have to be like, yeah, we're friends. Yeah, I dated them, or, whatever. And then you can get recused if it's, nobody recused himself. So I'm like, yeah, man, I got this. And they destroyed me. They went so far on the other side because they didn't want to,
they were being
they didn't want to give the impression that they were doing it. So I had to write a poem, come back and read it the next week. And I had like a bunch of community service. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but I was expecting literally like just a poem, then drop it off, or something. It was like, I thought nothing was going to happen. And then they're all like nervous because like I'm going to be pissed off, which I was, I wasn't happy, but I can understand. But it should be something like that. If it was so obvious that he was letting her do whatever she wanted to do, he should have been like if he was kind of tough on her, like, hey, don't talk to her that way. Just answer the question. Don't give your opinions or, talk down to people. They probably would have never even looked into his past, but the fact that he was just letting her do whatever she wanted, walk all over him and everyone in the court, he deserves what he got. He should have stepped down.
I think that's all part of it. I think that's part of exposing it. So,
yeah. I have to want to get the hell out of here and go back
to the Pleiades.
Him. There's a lot of stuff I'm noticing too about like all that kind of stuff coming out. Just I mean, there's still, people are looked upon as nuts and crazy, but it's losing a lot of its sting. And that's one thing that the gingivitis outbreak did, is that calling someone a conspiracy theorist or whatever, it doesn't have that same stigma like it used to, because as soon as someone says it, like, well, they were right. Like Alex Jones, perfect example. Like people go on Rogan or whoever, and as soon as they say Alex Jones, motherfucker, he's like, well, like 9 out of 12 things that he talked about were true.
Right.
And they're like, well, I mean, whatever.
I can't remember. I made a shirt on my YouTube channel on the little store, and it says something like something about, oh gosh, I don't know how to find it, but something about being a conspiracy theorist. And
yeah, a couple of years ago, I used to say, hey, America has a real problem. They're running out of conspiracies because they're all getting proved true.
Right.
Like we have hardly any left.
Yeah.
The water turning frogs gay. Did you ever that video game he made? That was insane. Like you have to battle gay frogs, and it's pretty funny.
No.
And then every level has a boss, and they're like Hillary Clinton. It's hilarious.
Oh God!
And then the last boss, the big boss, at the end is Soros that you have to kill.
I heard he sounds terrible lately. Somebody said they saw him speaking or something, and he sounded like he really wasn't doing well. Maybe he needs like his 5th or 6th heart transplant or something. And
it's another thing, man. These people live so freaking long, man. Like, I wish we had a non biased statistical NGO, even a government office. If they had some kind of transparency where they just did statistic shit, you know, where if you're like, what are the odds that this person would have? What are the odds that the Clintons would have, you know, 40 bodyguards die of this or that?
Right.
You know, it's just so you could pose a question. Maybe with AI, we're going to get that. There'll be some kind of statistical thing, and you can just type in what the query is.
But are they going to have back doors like they do with the whole,
you have to have
secretly put diversity in every search?
Something transparent to where you would know that you don't have that. But that would be awesome. And you could, because you could literally just, because that's what's happening now with Biden. But he's like that fucking song, you know, wasn't me. You know, Peter Dossie, whatever, got in this argument with him because they're like, hey, you said that you don't talk to any of your, you know, your family's business people, but you did here, you know, these all these different times. And he's like, no, that's not true. And what do you say to that? He's like, yeah, it is. There's these emails.
Liars will lie, and they'll keep lying straight to your face. Or you just stop talking to them.
Stupid.
And you cut them out of your life. Yeah.
Like, what do you do? When you do this, like, no, you did it. It's like, wasn't me. You know, it's like, it's frustrating. But even if you come to them, you're like, hey, there's a, you know, we went to the statistic robot, and they said that, you know, there's like a 97% chance that these people were actually murdered and didn't die of heart attacks. These 30 people had. It's just odd that 30 of your bodyguards would have heart attacks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the odds are statistically like 17 million to 1. And they're like, well, there's one, so there you go. It's silly.
It is. It's crazy.
All right. Well, it's good hanging out.
We live with.
It's 5:30. We should wrap it up.
Okay.
You guys take care. Love y'all. Remember to hit the like button. Really, really appreciate it. Leave a comment. You guys take care.
Go to the Mighty Lair on din.social. Is it din.social? Yeah.
Din.social.
Sorry. And go to the Mighty Lair and read I Am for I Am's entry on meritocracy. And maybe we can have him join us next week to discuss. What do you think?
Yeah. And also check us out on Thursdays on Dragon Chain for the World Blockchain Roundtable.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Which Lisa plays on her channel on Thursdays usually when she shows up.
I miss one time.
She always says that, but I used to show it on my channel. I just have to click on it when I get in there and set it up.
Yeah, I really like it.
Care. Love y'all.
All right.
Because the goal is not to completely subjugate Afghanistan. The goal is to use Afghanistan to wash money out of the tax bases of the United States, out of the tax bases of European countries, through Afghanistan and back into the hands of a transnational security elite. That is the goal, i.e. the goal is to have an endless war, not a successful war.